Good Wednesday evening, and welcome to This and That, the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Gillaway, and along with my partner, Bill Bostic, we hope to bring you guests and topics you'll find both fun and captivating from the worlds of local politics, arts and leisure, pop culture, and beyond. Our sponsors for This and That, the podcast, are Lingelstown American Legion, Post 272, Rickabaz Electric, and Team PA AAU Basketball. Thanks to these great local businesses for their continued support of our little podcast. Bill, how are you this evening?
A little frazzled, but that's not anything new for me.
It's not atypical for you at around 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night being frazzled, but that's okay, right?
Yeah, it makes it exciting for sure.
Exciting. Yeah, you've learned to live through it. That's part of the reason I love you so much. So anyway, man, big show tonight.
Yeah.
How long have we been talking about having a show about Colonial Park Mall since this started?
Almost 35 weeks now.
Day one.
Yeah.
What episode is this, Bill?
35.
You got it. All right. Very good. Yeah. I think we were talking about having an episode on Colonial Park Mall when we first started here.
Yeah.
And
it was on the list.
It's just taken a while. And it kind of grew since when we first started discussing it, because we were just going to talk about where things stand today and then the future of the mall. And then I started to promote this show as the history and future of Colonial Park Mall. And I thought, what better guest than Dave Doyle, who is the Lower Paxton Township Historical Commission Chair. Right. So anyway, let me mention here who we have on tonight, and we'll go from there. So we do have Dave Doyle, and along with the former Lower Paxton Township Director of Economic Development, Jeff Clare. And how about the PA House Rep serving the 105th District, which covers a large portion of Dauphin County, including Lower Paxton Township, Representative Justin Fleming. Bill, how about that lineup?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, we now Justin's going to be on. We just have to get Representative Kerwin. We'll have it all covered. Okay,
we still have plenty of dates left. We're going to be doing this forever. So, but we are going to have Representative Fleming back again to talk about, a more broader range of issues. But this is an extremely qualified and esteemed group of guests to discuss this topic. Yeah. I don't think there's any more that I'd want than these three. I mean that. And I think we did a great job, or we're very appreciative of them saying yes.
Yeah, it was meant to be. The pieces all fell together.
Absolutely. So anyway, the disclaimer here tonight and for all shows is that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the participants who voice them and do not necessarily reflect the positions held by This and That, the podcast, as an entity, Bill or myself, or the sponsors who support the show. Okay, so we're clear now. Bill, how's Lingelstown Gazette doing?
Well, big event tomorrow night. It could be the first ever celebration of local journalism across the world. I don't think many people are celebrating local journalism. No. It ranks right up there with accounting,
Well, yeah, you might be right about that. If you name something kind of obscure, then it's going to be the first ever. So
yes, absolutely.
But we don't really want to say too much about what's going on there. We just want to say, if you've been invited, get there, right?
Yeah, I mean, about 55, 56 people have been invited. Some aren't going to come. They've been in touch already, but we should have a nice crowd there. I'm hopeful, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Believe it or not, despite it being just local journalism, there's some great things happening. Right. Thanks, Joe, for asking.
Certainly. So you said something. What's going on with Ollie Schminke?
Well, he's changed his arrangement. He doesn't like to live so much down here. He wants to be up in Perry County. So he's
working
remotely, and then at the nighttime, he's still running the MTO section of Sheets up there.
Whew, boy, man, he no moss gathers on that guy, does it? Well, let's bring in our guest. We don't need to drag this out.
Nope. Let's go. Get it going, Joe.
Let's get it going. There's Dave Doyle. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing real well, thanks.
Representative Fleming. And Jeff Clare,
how are you?
How are you? Doing well, thank you,
gentlemen.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
So, I never get overly organized because I don't like to make this feel like that it's contrived, or I just want it to be a chat. just five guys hanging out talking. So once again, I didn't do that again, but I know that we want to start a little bit with the history. I know, Jeff, you're from Nebraska, right? How long have you lived in Lower Paxton Township, Jeff?
Just over 2 years.
Okay. All right. So you weren't eating three pretzels for $1 from the Colonial Beverage back in '73, right? How about you, Justin? You're not old enough to have been eating three pretzels for $1, but did you grow up around here?
No,
okay.
I did. So I'm born and raised here in Dauphin County, and I did for a brief period of time, and this was purely employee based. I worked at the Colonial Park Mall at the movie theater.
All right.
Okay.
So the mall was a popular job when I was in high school. So a lot of my friends had jobs at the mall, either at the Auntie Anne's Pretzels or at the Wall or at Boscov's and I worked at Boscov's when I was home for college over winter break. So did a couple of stints at the Colonial Park Mall as an employee, and of course, they made a movie Mallrats in the mid '90s. That was us too. When we had no other place to hang out, we would go to the mall. So it's been a treasured part of my life and my upbringing.
And I believe, and Dave, you will definitely let me know if I'm wrong, where the theater currently is where the original food fair was, right?
The food fair was actually at the far western end of the mall. So back down, I think there's.
Isn't that where the movie theater is now?
Yeah, right. Where the food court is now. Yes.
Yeah, and then the second iteration was, I think, a Pantry Pride, and then there was a market there for a while, like a regular market with stands and all that. Go ahead, Bill. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah, even though I grew up in Dillsburg on the West Shore, on occasions came over to Colonial Park Mall. Now, Representative Fleming, when you worked at the movie theater, was it like a separate building in back of the mall? Was that where it was?
Well, it was into the mall proper. So you go, I guess it would have been the western entrance of the mall.
Okay.
You come in the doors there, and now I think it was like a nail shop and a beauty shop, but it was over there. The movie theater was like built in. It was part of the mall, like basically between, the mall and the shoe store.
Okay.
Bill, you're referring to
that whole part.
Yeah, I guess that's the building I was in when I was a kid.
Yeah, which was
it was inside the mall by then. It wasn't the Eric. Yeah.
I guess I'm showing my age. That
was originally, Dave, that was the Translux Theater, right?
Oh yeah. It was gorgeous for its day.
Oh my.
It really was.
So space aged. It looked like the Jetsons, like something you'd see in the Jetsons.
Oh, it did. Well, it looked like Hollywood. I mean, it was amazing.
So talk a little bit. I know the mall started in 1960, but there was activity on that land, on that property, well before 1960. Could you talk a little bit, Dave, about what used to be there and kind of how that property evolved and how it changed ownerships and?
Yep. It was owned since 1910 by the Colonial Country Club, which originally started out as a 9-hole golf course, and to get an idea, if you're on Colonial Road and you're looking over at the apartments and you see the topography, how it kind of is hilly and such, that was the original golf course.
Okay.
And Ridgeview Road or Ridgeview Street, whatever it is, right across by S&T Bank, those houses were built facing the golf course. So that was like the kind of the wealthy people back in the day. But all through the 1900s, Colonial Country Club was there. And then then they expanded to an 18-hole and it got too crowded. So they decided to relocate to Lingelstown. And that's when they sold the property to the food fair properties, actually. Right.
Now, what are we looking at there, Dave?
So that would have been the original clubhouse from back in 1910. It burnt down in 1937, 38, and then they built a one-story clubhouse. But that would have been a beautiful building in its day.
Yeah.
There's, just to give people an idea, I'm sure most people know what the apartment complex. I'm not sure the name today, but the Arlington Avenue used to run right into there also before the highway. Isn't that right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Or before Jonestown Road. Yeah,
Right.
before Jonestown Road, Arlington didn't stop right there.
And,
Wow.
and keep
Yeah.
in mind, I mean, in the 1900s and even the late 1800s, you had large churches just west of that golf club. You know, you
Right.
had Shoop's, you had the Reformed Church, which Elias Phillips was the minister. And this area, Lower Paxton, only had several thousand residents, and all of your stores were mainly down in Harrisburg. So when Food Fair Properties bought this from the country club, they built originally it was a plaza before it became a mall. It was an open
Right.
plaza, and Sears came in, and they came from the city. And just in 1950, the population here doubled from because people were moving from the city, and we were starting to get industry. Plus, the capital was bringing a residents in, like Representative Fleming, with Justin. So this was the main area back then. This was huge. And that was the grand opening in 1960.
There it
shows
is.
that shows the open air. That's when it was the plaza.
Does anyone remember? I'm old enough to remember. The King of Prussia Mall used to be like this. When I was in my in the late 70s, I used to go down there, and it was the same thing. It was open air, just like that. So
because I remember this being open air.
I'm a little young for that. So there's the grand opening, and who was that, Dave? Who was speaking there?
Oh, that I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, so it had to be
Looks
somebody
like
important.
FDR.
that would have been a big deal, wouldn't it? You know what? I think I know who that was. That was James Tomb, T-O-M-B, James Tomb, president of the Harrisburg Area Chamber of Commerce. So that's
that
Mr.
makes sense.
Tomb. Yeah. And this is Bill. This is what I was trying to show you earlier. There's a much better.
Yeah,
look.
that's what I remember. I saw.
Yes.
I saw the
How
Godfather there.
Wow.
Isn't that a heck of a building for what? I think it was 1960.
That's a good looking building. Yeah.
What year
Yeah,
was
that
that?
was the late
Dave?
60s. That was the late 60s. Yep. And that, I'm telling you, that was a fantastic building.
And that was right there in the area now where, well, it was real close to where the bowling alley was, which was called Colonial Park Lanes, which then turned into Colonial Park Lanes and Colonial Lounge.
Right. They were tied in with each other. And where Boscov's is located was pretty much where the theater was.
Correct. Yeah.
Because they tore that down to build Boscov's.
So let's look at
that backside. I'm sorry, Joe. Really quick.
No, go ahead. This is everybody's show. Yeah,
where the Sears used to be. It still has that open air. Like if you're at the library and you kind of peek over, it still has that open air kind of feel in that L shape on the backside there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what was there?
You could absolutely see how it was open air back in the day.
Let me show you what was actually there. I had that. Well, that's where the library was. What was that called? East Shore Library, Dave?
Yeah, because the library was in the mall, and
okay.
That's what you're talking about right there, Representative Fleming. Right there.
Yeah.
Just to the left of where the barbershop is now.
On the new site though, where the library is on Ethel Street now, like if you peer over, if you're at that like far end of the parking lot and you peer over, you can still see kind of the open air quality,
right?
And the L shape, like back on the backside where the barbershop is,
absolutely,
and everything like that.
That's what we're looking at on the bottom there. That's exactly what that view is from over there.
Yep.
So okay, that's kind of the original, and I know we have some nostalgic people that are going to be watching this now or will watch it. that's the beginning. There was only one building that was not actually two. The auto center wasn't connected, and that opened. Did that open in 60, Dave, when the regular Sears opened, or the Sears and Roebuck store opened?
Yeah, I think they all came pretty much around the same time.
And then they had the Colonial Lanes in the back, the bowling alley, and then you had the Colonial Park Fire Company in the front.
Right. Originally, before that came, when it was still the Country Club, there was a little hotel that was right in that area too, which would have been kind of probably where the I used to call it the Sears Tire Store, right to
Auto
the right
center.
of, yeah.
So
And
not
that
the
all
one
got
that's
torn
still
down.
there with the little rooms, right? You're not talking about that. The little brick
No,
room.
no, that one's still there. This one
Yeah.
would have been torn down when they built the garages.
And then eventually we ended up with a Pomeroy's. That was 1974.
Are you going to talk about Alaska Land?
Well, we're going to talk about the second wave kind of kicked off a lot of different stores. Let's put everybody's faces back up here. The original ones were because it was too small to see on that sketch. Sears, Roebuck, Woolworth, Food Fair, Cress's, Kinney Shoes. There was a Baker Shoes. So there were two shoe stores. Tim Dowtrick's Men's Clothing, Merchant's Green Stamps. I never even heard of Merchant's Green. I heard of S&H. Miller's Auto, Colonial Park Lanes, Singer Sewing Machine, and Pete Wambach's Restaurant. That was just
Wow.
Pete Wambach's was pretty cool because it actually had different segments to it, and that was kind of like part of that was one of the first sports bars. Part of it was one of the first men's only little parts. They did it. It was old school. I even have a cigarette holder with Pete Wambach's advertisement on it. I mean, they did it. They did a class act back then.
That's not it. There's Pete Wambach's
There it is.
matchbook.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
And I have I have a. It was too large for me to send to you, but I have one of the original menus.
Okay.
From the restaurant. I wish
What
the
didn't
prices
that guy
would
do?
stay.
He
What's
did a
that?
lot. Well, I said, what didn't
He
Pete
did.
Wambach do? And then we had, how about this place? I'm not talking about the Woolworth. I'm talking about the Harvest House Cafeteria.
Oh, wow.
That was
Does
an
anybody
anchor.
remember that? Yeah, that was right next to Woolworth.
Yep.
We never had enough money to eat in that place. And it wasn't really high end or white tablecloth. It's just that when you have $1, you get a slice of pizza or a couple pretzels, you know? And we used to be able to use the bathroom in there. They never stopped us. But it was a
That's
huge,
where the buses would stop on their
Yeah.
trips.
correct, yeah, because they could accommodate a whole bus full of diners there.
Yep. Now
Um,
the one that when you had the map up, and if you can bring up the cars, I mean, people don't understand today. When it was Black Friday, there's enough places there to hold 3,500 parking spots, and you would drive around for a half hour just looking for one lucky spot.
I think that was 88. What we're seeing here, I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
was 1988.
No, that's actually, I think it's late. That might be. I
Well,
was thinking it was late
I
70s.
see some Astro vans and stuff like that. I used to sell used cars, so I remember the Astro vans in like the early to mid 80s.
You'll definitely know that then. But that was you know that was just that shows you how important that mall was. And that's
And then that's-
Alaska Land.
Alaska Land,
Where's
yeah.
Alaska Land there?
I went there for a birthday party, from the West Shore. I grew up in Dillsburg. It was that
Well,
popular over there.
They also had the Red Lantern, which eventually became Spaceport. Correct, Dave?
Yes. Yes.
Up at the very end by Sears. and I think you could get into into the Red Lantern from outside or inside.
Correct. Yes.
And next to Alaska Land was Zeppelin Optician. Does anybody remember Zeppelin Optician?
I remember the name. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, Dave, what else do you want to tell us about the mall and the property? It thrived for a number of years, right?
Oh, it was the epicenter. I mean, people didn't have to go down to Harrisburg anymore to go shopping. They
Right.
could come to the mall, and it was a big deal until like the Harrisburg East Mall and that came in, and then it became competitive. You know, where people were leaving this little area and heading to more fancy, more newer and better type of accommodations. But the Colonial Park Mall, it was amazing. I mean, as a kid, they would bring in. I think I sent you the Sinclair picture. Sinclair Oil brought in a whole dinosaur display, and I remember that was a big thing for our family to go see this. And that's just one of about 10 different dinosaurs that they had on this traveling show. And
Do you remember when they brought in the Clydesdales, the Budweiser Clydesdale horses?
Yep. And here's the strange one for you. I remember this is kind of like the circus sideshow. I remember when they brought in the caveman that they found in the ice, you know, and we'd walk up, and as kids, we were all excited to see this.
So the next wave I have, the Harvest House was part of the next wave. The News Center, remember the News Center?
News Center was huge. Yep.
I could go in there and read a magazine, just sit there on the ground and read a magazine while my mom and sister were at like Joy. What was it called? Joy Hosiery. And, you know, when they did their girl and woman shopping, I could go read. No, they never stopped me. They never got, you know, they let me sit there and read Mad Magazine or Sports Illustrated. Then we had Spaceport. Go ahead.
I spent a lot of time in Spaceport.
So did
Half
I.
my college was in Spaceport.
Italian Delight Pizza. I still think it's the best pizza I've ever had.
Yep.
And I don't think it's just the nostalgic part of it. I think it was fabulous pizza. Brown's Fabrics, Spencer Gifts, Fanny Farmer's Candy.
Yep.
Feller's Clothing. They had the slot cars, the hobby shop.
Well, the slot cars
Radio
were
Shack.
great.
Yeah. So, so let's just.
The BA liquor store was in there.
I remember that. Let's just agree that it was a very prosperous time for indoor malls and Colonial Park. It was the Plaza back then. Colonial Park Plaza. That was at the forefront. I mean, the East Mall started in '69, opened in '69. I looked all the other surrounding malls there were two in Carlisle, the York Galleria Mall. There were malls in all the surrounding towns and cities. They all came after Colonial Park.
Yes,
so
it was a model.
It was a model.
It truly was a model.
Correct. Let's see who we have. Tony Cantone. This is very interesting. Great show. CPM, Colonial Park Mall, was my home away from home. Tony, thank you for watching the show, and our condolences for your losing your father a couple weeks ago. And another person, an institution that was very important to the Lower Paxton Township area was Nick Cantone. Yep. Unbelievable guy. So, so then let's take it down. Let's just start getting ourselves a little closer to modern day things and kind of what happened to the mall. Jeff, we didn't forget about you, buddy. We have plenty of show left for you. I just wanted to get us to the point where we currently are. I think malls all around the country started to die. Not all of them, but what kind of happened with the mall? Was it the strip malls going up all over the place? Dave, what do you attribute it to?
Well, definitely Amazon wiped out the malls, you know, because it was so much easier just to order online. But the competition got so big, and it started becoming hangouts for the kids. and I was one of them, you know.
Mhm.
But I think that started to um, deter other people from wanting to come in and shop. Uh, you started seeing them try to do special items, and they just weren't working. You know, trying not like the dinosaur in the old days. It just wasn't attractive anymore for them to come over because there was so much more to do now. I mean, heck, when I grew up, we only had 3 TV stations. So if they did
Right.
something fancy at the mall, we went to it. So I think
Raise
all that had to do with it.
raise your hand, panelists, if you use Amazon and big box stores to make purchases.
What time frame?
Now,
Okay,
or
yeah,
or,
sure.
or in recent years. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, we all want to say at times, "Oh man, it really stinks." And I would go to the mall if it was still open, and I was still shopping there when it slowed down because it's not closed altogether. The reality is that most of us do purchase from Amazon. I think most of us contributed to what has happened to malls. So where we stand now, and Bill, I'm going to bring you in because you still go to the mall.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell the viewers what you still do at the mall.
Well, I go there as a big open space for my granddaughter to run around in because she's autistic, and it's a great open space for kids like that. Um, so we basically just hang out there and walk and look at the handful of shops that are still there, and you wonder how they're staying in business. Um, one group, I don't know who they were. They came in and put a coffee kiosk in there, revamped one that was there, put in modern uh, flat screens with all their prices and different things, and
Right.
it's closed already.
That used
So
to be Magic Bubble Tea for a while.
yeah, and it changed just recently, and they're not there anymore. Anthony Cristillo mentioned there is a store coming in, Flea Flicker. It's one of the stores that sells things overstock things that haven't, almost like Ollie's, just a smaller version type of
Right,
thing.
right. Going
But
into the
other
old
than
shoe
that,
fly spot, that's where you have access from outside
yeah.
from the parking lot. You don't have to go inside the mall.
But
But I was
but the
talking
one
to
thing I want to
Jeff.
mention, Joe,
Yeah,
one
go
thing I
ahead.
want to mention is the owner is doing a great job of keeping it clean and
That's what I
inside
was
is
just going to
fine. Yeah,
mention.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to Jeff before anybody else came on in the green room, and I just said to Jeff that and Jeff, how much a month is that? Is there nut there just to keep that place going and clean and landscaped and
What the owner told me was approximately 115,000 a month.
okay,
Wow.
yeah. And I don't know enough to disagree, but I know that a property that size is going to cost a whole lot of money for upkeep.
Yeah.
So you
So
got it, insurance, you've got landscaping, electricity. The cost is very high.
okay, so let's I think we're kind of the stage is set for us to go into where things stand today. Um, Jeff, you were the Lower Paxton Township Director of Economic Development up until how long ago?
May.
Okay, so you're very qualified to talk about this. What seems to be the mood now as far as attracting the place is? How come the current owner? Let's go this way. How come the current owner isn't doing anything with the mall right now?
He actually is.
Okay.
So the Bonton site was his focus. So the second floor of the Bonton building will become American Fun Center, and it'll be a kids' haven. So that was his goal, and was to touch up the mall itself. But the township is requiring a master plan. Um, they're looking, at a 10-story hotel, entertainment, restaurants, apartments, commercial space, etc. And that's what the township is wanting within a master plan for the new owner.
Okay. And how long has the new owner uh, been owned the property?
We started this process a couple of months after I started. And so I know that there has been construction within the Bonton building itself, but now there are a host of issues that the township has to deal with the owner, and he put up the rest of the mall is for sale if anybody is interested in purchasing it.
Okay.
The
Okay.
mall property, not the mall itself.
Correct. So let me bring in PA House Rep Justin Fleming, serving the 105th district, which is right here, right where we're talking about. Where does your district? It's Lower Paxton Township, Susquehanna Township, Pembroke, correct? Is that the crux of it? Is that the entire district?
Yeah. Yep, that's
Okay.
exactly it, Joe. So the district is 17 of 27 Lower Paxton Township precincts. So
Okay.
Colonial Park area, Union Deposit Corridor, Jonestown Road, and over to Colonial Road and some of Lingelstown Road. Basically, Lingelstown Road from the river to Colonial Golf Club. Once you get past Colonial, then Lingelstown starts, and that's where Representative Kerwin represents that area. The 10 precincts in Lower Paxton that I don't. So geographically, it's a large area of Lower Paxton Township, and quite frankly, if you were to look at a map, Colonial Park Mall almost makes up the central portion of the district. So it's quite literally in the centerpiece of the 105th legislative district. And so that's why it's so important that we do whatever we can to support and really enhance any development on that site. So I've been a big proponent of redevelopment. I think the township government and having had experience in local government myself as a Susquehanna Township commissioner, those decisions are not easy. But I give the township government credit for thinking outside the box, being very flexible, because that's the mixed use is the way to go. You know, you want parcels, especially large parcels, you want them to add value in a number of different ways. When we look at those decisions, we often look at what's called the highest and best use of a particular parcel of land. And that really means what's going to be what's going to be the most profitable thing to help lower the burden on residents as taxpayers, because businesses share in that too.
Right.
But also something that's going to attract residents and attract, people to come into your town, either as consumers or, visitors. That's what every municipality is looking for to stay viable. And so I give them a great amount of credit for being flexible in terms of their zoning and the use that they want to put this property to. But as Jeff can speak to, there are also some challenges there.
So give the viewers an idea. Tell the viewers what is mixed use. You said that mixed use would probably make the most sense. Talk about a property like that. What would you put on there for it to qualify as mixed use?
Well, it's exactly what Jeff said. A use of residential, and this could be huge. I mean, we really do have a housing crisis, not only in our country but in our area. Housing is really tough to come by. And the cost of housing has increased, even for renters. So, you build something on there that has several hundred units, where, you're attracting families. I know that's always a tricky dance with the school district, especially one as large as Central Dauphin. Right. So, I'm in contact with, Eric Epstein, who is on the school board, and we talk about these issues pretty consistently, and I know the challenges therein. But so you're talking about residential uses, commercial uses, and then any other sort of all in one. So usually when we talk about zoning, it's just residential or it's commercial. Mixed use is multiple uses, whether you're talking about residential or commercial, all on one site. That's a mixed use, and we've seen it done elsewhere to great success. You mentioned King of Prussia, the towns down in Exeter, in Chester County that have done a beautiful job. I was just in Pittsburgh, gorgeous mixed use where it was like restaurants, 4 different restaurants on the first floor, and then there are condos and businesses on some of the other floors. So it absolutely can be done. But like I say, there are also some challenges there, which because it's subdivided in interesting ways, and but I am here to do whatever I can in partnership with the municipality to keep that property viable and redevelop it in a responsible way.
Okay, Jeff, how much, again, you're the former Lower Paxton Township Director of Economic Development. How much of a splinter or a thorn in your side was Colonial Park Mall, that property, when you had that job? And how important was it to the people around you working at the township or the board of supervisors? Was that a real high priority for everybody?
Indeed. And so the community, Amanda Zerby and her team in community development is outstanding. Great people, very knowledgeable. As you said before, Amazon has destroyed the retail shopping market.
Mm-hmm.
And so attracting businesses into whatever the mall ends up being is going to be difficult to begin with. But let's talk about Justin Fleming has been a hero in terms of what Lower Paxton is going to need with that mall. And we've had many discussions. But the problems that exist are real. And so part of the issue is that total property has 5 different businesses that are owners of parts of that property. Mounts Jewelers, Red Lobster, Boscov's, etc.
Longhorn
That
Steakhouse.
they're renters. They're renting from
Sears, I
Sears.
think.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Sears Automotive in the new zoning agreement, they don't want to have another tire place in Lower Paxton.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got estimates underneath that Sears Automotive is a creek. It is built with tons of asbestos and lead. So the cost to remove the Sears Automotive to just flatline the property is probably going to run somewhere between $1 and $4 million.
A lot of brick, just a whole lot of brick.
A lot of brick and a lot of asbestos,
A lot
which
of
is a
asbestos,
specialized removal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's just that piece would be somewhere between $1 and $4 million. Sears, which owns that property, is asking, somebody already offered a little bit over $4 million and they rejected that offer.
Mm.
They're looking for somewhere above $7 to $8 million
That's just for the auto center
just
area?
for the Sears portion.
Okay.
The new zoning, the town center ordinance says that all 5 businesses that own a part of that property have to be in agreement on the master plan.
Mm.
Well, I've been in business for 30 years and I'm a real estate developer. You're not going to get all 5 businesses to agree on anything at one
That would be a
time.
miracle.
The problem was when Boscov's went up, the township had an agreement with Boscov's that nobody would build on the frontage on Colonial Road. The parking lot is huge. There's no way Boscov's use all those parking spaces.
Yeah.
But the problem is when I was talking to folks at Hilton and Marriott about putting up a high-end hotel there, that's where they want to put the property. So we have a glut of commercial real estate that's available for lease within the township. So putting up more commercial space is just shooting ourselves in the foot. What we need to do is have an agreement with a large organization, whether it be a hospital or a medical facility of some sorts, and have a 10-year lease signed before the construction goes up so we have a guaranteed renter. So there's issues that have to be resolved. I mean, we're never going to become King of Prussia in terms of having 7 to 10 million people within 25 or 50 miles of the property. People travel to King of Prussia because they want to go to Prada. We're never going to service Prada here.
Right.
So we have to be smart in terms of site selection committees and who is going to come in and build things that are never going to be serviced. So the combination of inclusivity, hotel, commercial, and residential, it makes sense, but we have to do this in a very orchestrated way in order for this to turn out to be, what Justin's vision is and what others' vision are. Um, this is a tough act to put together.
Who from the township, Jeff? And Bill, I didn't forget about you.
That's no problem.
After this question, I know this is Bill, you know a lot about this stuff. So after this question, I'll bring you in. Who from the township is responsible at the moment for going out there and rolling up their sleeves and trying to find buyers? You have most townships, municipalities, cities, they have kind of like a department that's what they do is they try to drum up, renters or buyers for their real estate. Is there
Yep.
somebody in? Do I make any sense here? I'm kind of
Yeah, you do.
100%.
okay.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the township right now that's responsible for that?
No. And so part of that issue is we've had site selection committees come up to sit down with me and have conversations about putting high-end stores, retailers, restaurants, etc., in the mall space. I was just in Panama, where 75% of all ships going through the canal are either coming to America or leaving America. With the new way things are happening, companies are looking to move from other countries here to the United States, and we need to have somebody here representing us to go to investment conferences and market Lower Paxton Township, but that's not being done currently.
So,
Well,
Bill,
hey,
let me bring you in, Bill, because you do know a lot about this stuff.
well, I know some stuff because I talked to Jeff, but
Okay.
last night, Tuesday night, I guess it was last night. I'm losing track of time. Whenever the 2026 budget for the township was presented, it was they've eliminated the economic development department in 2026. So there's what Jeff is saying is absolutely right. It shows up right in the budget. But there has been some discussion at the township led by Laura Kurtz, our current chairwoman, about developing or putting together an economic development commission or authority. Jeff or Justin, do you see any positive things coming from that if that would get some momentum?
I've been involved in those discussions,
Okay.
and I think it's really the only way to go,
Okay.
because you really need to start from the beginning and have serious marketing materials about the mall and about Lower Paxton Township and what a great place to raise a family this is.
Yeah.
This is a piece of heaven. And most people, if you ask somebody in Los Angeles or San Francisco, have you heard of Lower Paxton Township? The answer is going to be no. But the support from Dauphin County Economic Development, from Justin's office, from Representative Kerwin's office has been over the top. Patty Kim, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so, just like you said, somebody at the township level has to be out in those meetings and marketing the township to anybody's willing to listen.
I think you need a person that has a background in sales, in real estate, in development. I mean, that's a real job there for somebody. Like you need somebody that you probably have to pay a decent amount and that's going to, again, roll up their sleeves and go out there 40, 50 hours a week and really try to bring in people that, first of all, you have to find the qualified buyers. Okay. And they're not hanging off of trees like when you're talking about a however many $1 million. But Representative Fleming, what can you tell us from your perspective and the interaction you have with the township regarding, not just the Colonial Park Mall property, but real estate in general?
Yeah, I mean, to answer Bill's question, I mean, the good thing is that, and Jeff alluded to this, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. I mean, that's an economic development authority or something like that is absolutely the way to go. And fortunately, in state statute, we do pave the way in the second class township code to be able to enable municipalities, like I say, in Susquehanna Township, where I served as commissioner, we had an industrial development authority. We had an economic development person as well that was, whose job it was to market Susquehanna Township and attract commercial business owners, home builders, and land developers, et cetera, and really sell the region as a great place to live, work, and play. Lower Paxton it's got so much going for it. You've got a great like population base here, really diverse in every sense of the word. You've got economic diversity, ethnic diversity, religious diversity. I mean, we have so much potential as a region. And I've had discussions mostly with the prior board before sort of all the resignations took hold and everything,
right.
and because it dovetailed actually with something that we've been able to do at the Commonwealth level, which is in my first budget, in my first year, we were able to get language in the fiscal code. It started out as a bill, $10 million for mall redevelopment throughout the Commonwealth. And so we've been able to secure that funding because this is an important thing for economic development's a priority for the governor. The secretary of the Department of Community and Economic Development, Rick Seiger. I'm able to speak with him every year during budget hearings, and I've discussed the prospect of a mall redevelopment before we got it done. I discussed the prospect with him about that and used Colonial Park Mall as an example right here in the heart of our district. So we've been able to do that. The Commonwealth Finance Agency is working toward that and working through those applications right now. And I'm hoping it really takes off. What we don't want to become, and I've used this example many times, we want to really do this smartly. And as Jeff pointed out, as you all have pointed out, really, it's going to take a collective effort and a partnership with Lower Paxton Township, with other electeds, with the community, to really determine what's the highest and best use there. And we need everybody singing from the same hymnal, and really being intentional about what goes there, because the worst case scenario is you turn into the Century Mall in
Right.
Well,
Allegheny County,
explain what happened there, Representative Fleming. People may not know where it's at and what's happened. Can you explain what happened to Century Mall, where it's at, what it became?
Yeah, the Century Mall was established back in the I believe it was the late 70s or mid to late 70s, and
is it in the Pittsburgh area?
It was. I'm sorry.
Is it in the Pittsburgh area where Century Mall's at?
Yes, it's in Allegheny
Okay.
County. It's in Allegheny County near Pittsburgh. You're exactly right, Bill. And when in the heyday of malls, it was an exciting place to be. It was a great place to go for the community. But once and there are a variety of factors, like we mentioned, online shopping, changes in consumer behavior and things like that. And David, you brought something up that was interesting, and it's funny because I was a teenager, but like just the prospect of malls not being a place where people wanted to shop because teenagers were running amok. I was one of those teenagers probably
Right.
that was driving consumers away, and I didn't even think of it until now. So thanks for bringing
Right.
that valuable perspective. Unfortunately, the Century Mall it fell into disrepair as consumer behavior changed, and it's an eyesore. It's a blight. And I honestly, I am not going to sit idly by while I can try to help do something and watch the same thing happen here in the Colonial
the other
Park
thing that
Mall
happens
and here in Lower Paxton Township.
Yeah, if our mall or any mall goes offline and they don't pay the taxes, we got a big burden right there.
Huge. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the tax burden, and then the blight issues and the health and safety issues, because
Hmm.
um you know it, you've got all kinds of animal infestations, and
Right.
you know plants growing up through, it's just fallen into complete disrepair. So and like I say, I want no part of that. I know none of us on this call, on this broadcast, and nobody watching here that cares about Lower Paxton Township and our community and our region want that to happen. So but again, it's going to require, as Jeff said, there are some challenges. We've got five parcel owners who need to agree
Yeah.
on what happens with a master plan, and those things aren't easy, but we've got to commit to it, because
Absolutely.
in this instance, failure is not an option.
Go ahead,
And
Bill.
Joe, it's
Go ahead.
important to note that, once that the mall becomes the diamond that it should be,
Hmm.
you have the frame around it. So you have the old Colonial Diner, the Goodyear tire shop that are run down and closed. Dauphin County Economic Development is willing to do a corridor study. There's a whole bunch of players that want to step to the table, and that's why putting a redevelopment authority in place will invite everybody to the table, and we can make this work pretty quickly.
Hey, this is a great question here, and I think it's one that's a common question. Kirby Lentz, one of our VIP platinum viewers. Thank you, Kirby, for watching tonight. Justin, why does the Capital City Mall do well? Is there more money on the West Shore to
I think
support
there
this
is,
mall?
yes. It's a different economy over there.
Is that what it is?
That's the
Yes.
primary thing. I think so.
I-
Yes.
I
And
think
see-
that's in large part what it is. I mean, the West Shore, you have to understand, the West Shore now is kind of where we were 10, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
because the West Shore is still, it's a growth area. I mean, look at Hampden Township. I mean, they can't build houses fast enough. And this is
Right.
something that my colleague, Thomas Kutz, who represents that area, the median home price in Cumberland County right now is over $400,000.
Yeah, it's a growth area.
Median. So yeah, they're just dealing with a little but again, unless they they get creative and inventive about the way they do things, they could be facing this same situation in 10 to 15 years. Just because the patterns changing and the economics changing.
Because they've also been lucky. They've been lucky that they've maintained a lot of the same stores. We're at the Colonial Park Mall.
That's true.
That's nothing but a shell right now.
Right.
So it's not. There's no incentive for somebody to come in and put up a little
Right.
store.
Familiarity
And
is
then
important.
I can attest to this as a dad. I mean, the Dave and Buster's is awesome. I like going there to eat my wings and watch my sports and have a beverage while the kids are playing their video games and stuff. You go there on a football Sunday. My daughter's been there for parties and everything like that. It's awesome. And it came at a perfect time. To again sustain. And what happens is, the Dave and Buster's draw them there, and then while the kids are playing, mom realizes, oh, I need a pair of shoes or I need a dress because I've got something coming up. And then boom, she's over at the mall, checking some things out. And then, oh, you started out, we've all done this. You started out, you might need one thing. And then you see another store, oh, your niece's birthday's coming up. So you're going to get her a gift from this place. And then, and it's got that snowball effect. But yeah, Cumberland's
I need to find out where Dave and Buster's is at. I have no idea. Where's it at?
Capital City Mall. It's like on the
It's at
backside.
Capital City Mall on the backside. Yeah.
Okay.
How about Mario Brunelli here? Who knows Mario Brunelli? He says that I'm the broker on Colonial Park Mall. I don't know what a broker on the mall would be. I guess the broker who's trying to sell the mall.
He represents the owner.
Okay, yeah. So he's the broker trying to help sell the mall. Happy to provide an updated flyer on the proposed sale. We plan to meet with developers at ICSC in New York. Nice to meet you all. Mario, thank you for watching tonight, and thank you for chiming in and for your offer. That's awesome. Yeah, this is going to take a big
breaking
effort.
news. I love
Yeah,
it.
this is
Yeah.
going to take not just Justin, not just Jeff, not just it's going to take everybody, including
Yeah.
all the individual owners, to kind of put together a collective effort. I mean, this isn't just going to happen from one or two people's input or
And Jeff, I mean, I sort of have a question because like has there been any outreach to the community as part of this process in terms of what folks in Lower Paxton Township want to see, because that's going to be a key component as well.
100%.
Because if you bring a whole bunch of stuff in, that nobody wants, then you're not giving yourself a high chance of success there. So community input's going to be really important too.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to do before I left was to do a town hall specifically about the mall. Second thing was to do a part of our Facebook page with the township was to do just a mall update to road closures or, whatever tear downs are going to happen on a weekly basis. The residents have to be a part of this. Otherwise, it's a road to disaster.
we are in a unique scenario right now where we're faced with having 80% of our board of supervisors change faces for the third time in about a year. Okay, it's literally 80%. We lost 4, we got 4 new ones. They all got voted out. We're getting ready to have 4 new ones. That's a high number, a high percentage. Jeff, you know Laura Kurtz very well, or at least on a professional level. And you and I talked before we went on the air here. Laura has a good grasp. I'm not going to say seems to. She understands what's going on and what needs to be done here, at least to get things started. Are you going to be able to, Jeff, at least as kind of just as an advisor or somebody from the community with a good understanding, help this new board, get up and running? And Justin, when will you start working with the new board and trying to become a teammate of theirs?
Well, Joe, I've spoken to every one of the newly elected officials.
Okay.
And they have told me that on day one, after they're swearing in, that's what they're going to focus on. It has to be the key element because that mall will generate so much taxable income.
Mm-hmm.
It just will benefit the township in a great way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would think so. I wasn't trying to set anybody up for an answer that had to do with not caring. Okay, I know that they care, but it seems like it's got to be something that they have to kind of hit the ground running, right? Right, Representative Fleming?
Yeah,
absolutely. I heard the tail end, Joe. But yeah, I mean, they get sworn in, I believe, on January 5th.
Yeah.
And so, the work's going to begin. I've had conversations with each of them individually. I actually plan to meet with them as a collective just to share some thoughts. And by the way, I would have, regardless of who won, regardless of party, I would have offered that to the folks on the new board as well. Because I'm on the local government committee. It's so important. People, your local governments are so vital to the services you receive and the touch point. Like usually with government, that's either the local government or the school district is your first kind of touch point with government. Mm-hmm. And so it's really important that we get those things right. And I did want to say one more thing. I mean, Jeff kind of alluded to it, but we're so fortunate to have a lot of people who are invested in this. And I just wanted to shout out the Harrisburg Regional Chamber. They did a lot of work to remember when there were rumors about Amazon perhaps looking at the Harrisburg area. So they always have really good plans to sort of sell the region. And I think, they can be helpful in this as well, as we look to really get this on solid footing and make it a destination. I want to see the Colonial Park Mall become a destination again. And I think working together, we can achieve that.
Absolutely.
Bill?
Couple quick points. We're talking about some of the big hurdles that we have, but there's an example here in our local area where they did have some success, and that's Tom Verneau, who is our interim manager. I think it's Lower Allen Township. Is that right? Lower Allen, where they had that area that was a big department store. Now it's thriving retail area over across 15 from the Capital City Mall.
Trader
Yes.
Joe's, is that
Trader
area there?
Joe's, there's a
Yep.
Fishbone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they were able to pull it together and have success. So that's just in our backyard. And so that gives me some hope. And the other thing I wanted to offer, the project I'm working on with a media project, getting local news back in our area. We've already seen with the Lingostown roundabout that having a news center or news source can move things. Because it only took 2 months from the time I first reported on the roundabout till the time PennDOT committed to doing something by the end of the year. 2 months. I mean, that's
Little old Bill Bostic in Lingostown Gazette got
Yeah.
got him going, and he did. He really did.
So here's the point I'm going to make. If I write some, I started a mucking around with Bill Bostic column. If I write on this topic, can I contact you, Jeff, and you, Justin, for some input on what I put together before I publish it to see whether some things need to be changed because I'm just off the charts. But I think I need some help to do that, though, to do
Sure.
writing on you. Okay, thanks, Jeff.
And I think it's important to note that everything here is data driven.
Yeah.
So when I was talking to like Whole Foods, for example, they need to know that 60,000 vehicles pass the front of their location on a daily basis.
Okay.
And that's what's going to happen, whether it be Hilton or Marriott or Whole Foods or any large Dave and Buster's. They need to know they're going to have their seats filled and they're going to make money because this is all about revenue generation.
Oh, where are we at now, Jeff? Do you know, in terms of traffic? Do you have any idea where we're at right now? In terms of,
We can hit the number of 50,000 cars.
okay.
And again, we're in competition with small towns and cities across America for the same companies.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go to an investor conference, I'm battling with 100 other cities across the country.
So are you saying that right now we're in pretty good shape in terms of having just native traffic right now as we stand?
Well, the real issue is going to be the money for the development. The current owner does not have $75 million to do what we're asking to do.
Okay.
And so it's going to be, again, like Justin said, is putting the people at the table that can assist whoever the owner is at the time with their ability to move forward.
Okay.
All right. So
And I'll be candid. Oh, so sorry, Joe. Can I just add one more thing to that?
You're up for sure. Yeah.
I mean, part of the reason why I fought for that funding, that mall redevelopment funding, is because developers, as Jeff said, hey, this is a market-based economy where people want to make money, right? Developers aren't going to do this out of the kindness of their heart. Right. They don't care that there's a whole community that's relying on, the mall to be a centerpiece of their community and provide tax revenue. They don't care. So we need to incentivize that. And so that was the impetus for the redevelopment fund. And by the way, this is a bipartisan issue. You see it all over the state with the Lycoming Mall, malls in State College, malls in the Lehigh Valley. We already talked about the Century Mall in Allegheny, Frackville Mall. They repurposed that into a Bed Bath & Beyond, and then that went under, unfortunately, after COVID. So, I mean, this is something that's happening all over the place, from right here in Dauphin to Schuylkill to Lycoming to Lehigh to Erie and everywhere in between. So this is something that affects a lot of communities across our Commonwealth. And so, I'm hoping that we get to the point where, like I say, the program's just getting off its feet, but I'm hoping we get to the point where this is something that we're investing in $50-100 million every year, because it will clean up communities.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, fellas, I think that's about all we have time for. I mean, we do. If anybody wants to give us any closing thoughts, or, I feel motivated that things are moving in the right direction. Bill, how about you?
I just need to be in touch with our new township supervisors. I really haven't communicated with them, so I don't know what their sentiment is, how anxious they are to jump into this thing and put the time and get everyone together. I don't know.
I don't think Representative Fleming and Jeff Clare are going to let him sit there and do nothing with it, Bill.
Yeah, Representative Fleming
There
already
will
was
be a
here
discussion
earlier in the
point for
year.
sure.
I believe it is. So anyway, thank you very much to Dave Doyle. Thanks for sticking in there with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, I love it.
He is the historical
Thank you,
LP
Dave.
Township Historical Commission Chair, Dave Doyle. And then we had also former LP Township Director of Economic Development, still in the trenches there, still trying to get things going for the township, Jeff Clare, and PA House Rep serving the 105th District, which is right here where we're talking about, Justin Fleming, Representative Justin Fleming. Thank you, fellas. We really appreciate it. I think we got a lot of information out there to people. I learned. I thought I knew a lot about this. I didn't know anywhere nearly as much as I thought I did. And I think a lot of people. We want to thank Mario Brunelli for offering his assistance. He is the broker to the current owner. They're trying to sell the whatever part of the property he owns, that person owns. So, fellas, thanks very much. We really appreciate it. And hopefully we can have you all on again.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a great evening,
Thank you.
everybody.
Right.
Thanks for tuning in.
Have a great night.